Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is a very special edition of the Dugout. Not just because I'm the only one, there are two very special guests that have joined me by. At the end of the day, one nation dominates, the other is in contemplation as to what is the road ahead. England have dominated white ball cricket, ODI champions, T20I champions as well. The first men's team in history to do it, the first cricket team to do it, where the Australian Southern Stars, they still continue to achieve dominance. Now, the lessons that England have given us in this T20 World Cup is very, very simple. Smart, aggressive, depth, you name it, versatility. What are the lessons that India have to learn? And can India indeed follow the template of white ball dominance that England have established? That is the topic of our very special Dugout today. And as I promised you, I'm not the only one. I'm joined by Shane and Harshit. Harshit is still dealing with mental trauma.
And we're going back to the same topic.
Exactly, you've chosen a topic which doesn't help my cause.
I'm going by Alan Donald's mantra.
Yeah.
Remember, Alan Donald, 1999 World Cup semi-final, the ultimate tragic loss because South Africa didn't lose, but Australia didn't win either.
Yeah.
A net run rate differential of 0.01. Alfred Hitchcockian twist which was so savage. When he went out, the simple question one of the fans asked him, why didn't you run?
Yeah.
How did Donald deal with it? He made himself watch that semi-final over and over and over again. I am talking about a 1999 semi-final between Australia and South Africa at Edgbaston.
You're prompting me to watch the match highlights again and again.
Again and again.
To it.
To be fair, Saransh was watching match highlights earlier.
But he was watching the better
India,
part
Pakistan,
of it. Yeah,
right?
he was watching the good part of it.
See, you can only watch the good part, but if you watch the good part, you would also watch the bad part. India were behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
For most of the match, for 18.4 overs in that second innings. It just took some freakish hitting from the king. And also, if you have to look at it, some very bad planning from Pakistan. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that is why.
Plans are out in the open.
Absolutely. So now, in this, what I'm going to tell you is that, can India follow that white ball template of dominance?
See, there's no doubting the fact that they can. But if you look at where this England team is now, it's the result of two things. One, a very meticulous plan. Two, sticking to said plan. Three, adapting and evolving from the base that they built. Why do I say that?
Right.
2015, Nadir, as far as English white ball cricket is concerned, knocked out of the World Cup in Adelaide after a loss to Bangladesh.
Yes.
Bad time to be an English cricket fan. Yep. They were still actually in the same mode that India were in. They were kind of stuck in the
Transition.
past. They were stuck in the past.
And they had to take a call.
Yeah. And they said, look, you know what? We realize that it's not good enough. We need a change. So what did they decide to do? They said, okay, we're going to play aggressively. Yep. We're going to stay on the front foot.
But
we accept.
Yeah, you go on. Completely.
We accept that might sometimes lose us matches. And to be fair, it did. Yeah. There were times when they were too aggressive and they lost the match because of it, because they lost wickets in hordes. But more often than not, it turned out to be successful. Then, when they realized that, okay, in this tournament, maybe we can't really play that way, what do? Switch to playing smart. They'll look to hit at certain times. Yeah. They'll look to, read the situation. Okay, this is probably not the time to be targeting anyone. But where does that learning come from? That evolution comes from them first embracing that ethos of batting aggressively, of when you're bowling, we have to be bowling hard lengths, we have to attack the batsman. That mentality is seeping through them. Yes.
Secondly, I would like to add to it. I'm telling you, why you have to deal with that topic. How did England become so good when they reached rock bottom?
Yeah.
Also, one more thing, and this, what we're addressing here, we're talking about the fact that can India follow England's template? I think it also begs the question, and I think you can't really do that until and unless you adopt split captaincy. That is another subtopic over here.
Yeah.
Because you can't reason. Look what England have done. What Sunny Bhai said on our show. What did he say?
There is split captaincy, split management.
But
in both.
What did he say? The interesting thing or the noteworthy part over there was that if you have the personnel, only then do it. First, what England have done, look at their backup. Everyone knows about their bench strength, and clearly their bench strength, in a way, benefited them going into the semi-final and the final. They had so many people to rely on. So again, it's a system. So you need to develop that pool of players. One. Two, of course, look at playing certain people in certain roles, and only then you look at seeing, all right, we can do this, we can have certain players play over here, the other players playing over there in certain formats. These things have to happen, only then can you look at truly following the English template. You need to define roles, you need to tell players who plays what, who doesn't play what. Plenty of calls will have to be taken. Are you ready to move past Rohit Sharma? You appointed him as all format captain only a year back. Again, can you make these wholesale changes just because you had a drubbing in one match? Lots of these questions. And again, the bigger question being, can you make all of these changes and expect results in a year's time? Because remember, pressure will be paramount. It would have tripled, I would say. The pressure on this Indian team would have tripled, and it will be of paramount importance for India to bear that pressure in home conditions. Can you make these changes in 1 year and expect the trophy to stay here only?
Look, simple basic stuff. Basic stuff number one. How many of the England players played together in that 1 year?
Most of them.
Most of them, the core.
That's number one. That's your answer.
But does that core apply to all three formats or just white ball cricket?
Just white ball.
Just white ball.
No, but I think even the test team hasn't been that unchanged for the most part.
Well, they have struggled. I mean, look, you've got Zach Crawley, you've got Alex Lees, Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow, then Ben Stokes. You also have
Chris Wokes, Ben Foakes.
You've got we're not Willie in test.
Not in test. I thought we were talking white ball.
Sam Curran, ODI. If you have to look at it, Mark Wood. Mark Wood. How many of them play all three formats?
Let's count.
There are very few actually.
Let's count.
So Sam Curran,
Joss.
But then Joss doesn't play tests anymore.
Yes.
Johnny
Bairstow plays.
Bairstow does, format player. And in fact, he's been
does.
drafted into the format, that test format, to be that aggressive batsman.
Yes. Just one or two in tests, if you have to brutally look at it.
Yeah, Wokes is another one, all format.
That's it. But look at England and how the core has played together. When did they start playing with the core?
Who can be that core for India is my question.
Firstly, we did not have a core.
Can we build on one?
Yes.
Let's look forward.
Yes.
Can we build on one?
You can build.
Yes.
You can.
Who do you put in your core then?
Virat,
Yes.
Surya,
Okay.
Hardik.
You're expecting Surya to get
And
test as
Bumrah.
well.
No, not test. This is only for
White ball core.
We don't have a problem with the test cricket format as of now.
Okay.
As of now.
But around these four players,
So who did you say? Hardik, Surya, Virat, Rohit.
No, Bumrah.
Rohit, in or out?
Rohit, I don't see
Has to
him
be-
beyond 2023. I'll tell you
Yeah,
why.
I don't think.
I'll tell you why. Because look, white ball dominance, you're not going to face that much of issues at home.
Yeah.
Which is 2023. All the flaws, all the thing will get hidden in home series anyways. Your kings at home, isn't it? Your kings at home, and you're also going to ensure the home domination continues. When was the last time you lost at home in a white ball series? 2019. You drew in 2022, you won the other series that was played.
Yeah, but you also have to remember the last time there was the home World Cup, you had a prime Virat Kohli and couldn't progress past the semi-finals. This team might not actually, as much of a written given that you will actually just be romping up to a World Cup.
I will tell you one thing. The template word is very overrated.
Okay.
There is nothing called as a template. England are the classic case of it. Well, you say, oh, the England template of thing. But they didn't have a template. What did they have?
Smartness.
Versatility and smartness.
But they did
See,
actually.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think there is a template, but having a template doesn't mean that you don't adjust to the conditions.
That's the one thing that they've picked up now, which I had said makes them a more dangerous team.
Yes.
Previously, they were one note.
Exactly. So they're not just traveling on one track. They're not sticking to a one-track policy then. Yes, they know that they can be aggressive. It's that ability which is enshrined in them now, I would say.
I have
all
just-
ability, more than ability, mindset.
I just summed it up in one word, which you all have just said it now: versatility.
Yeah.
Versatility in the sense that, look, you can't go bang bang and you can't be over conservative. See, in the game against Sri Lanka, classic case, you saw an extreme of both. In the final, you saw an extreme of both.
Correct.
Stokes took his time until the 17th over. His strike rate was just about 80.
Yeah. And even finished with only a strike rate of a little over 100.
Just over 100. But the clutch moment, when you have to accelerate, that
They
happened.
picked that perfectly.
Iftikhar. Classic. He knew that.
See, again,
But India, what happened in India's case? What happened in India's case? Two instances. Even Sunil Gavaskar said, the back end, we all thought that maybe the back 10 overs could bail them out. It happened in the Pakistan game. We got a false sense of complacency.
It happened in a lot of games. Truth
But
be told.
see,
No, I'm
in
talking
India's
about only
case,
Pakistan and this thing, because they were chasing and then they set up a base. Crucial matches. You lost the plot against South Africa. You didn't face that much of an issue against Bangladesh. But see what happened. 10 overs, 62 against England in Adelaide.
yes,
And
yes.
that too, it wasn't a demon pitch like what it was in Melbourne. It was a truer wicket, flatter wicket.
or the one in Perth.
Or the one in Perth.
Correct.
If you were 82 for 2, 106 runs you add in that, 20-25 runs more. 185, 190.
Easily.
Mindset,
Psychology.
that changes totally.
See, yes, the psychology would have changed, but that day, again, a horror day, and as much as I would have hated to touch upon this day, yes, we are going to be talking about it again and again. There are plenty of things that went wrong that day. Plenty of things.
Yeah.
You can't put your finger on one thing because everything went wrong. The batting also, you can't say, yes, of course, in hindsight, when you look at the scoreboard or the future generations, say, what did our bowlers do? I'd say, what did the batters do as well? And which is why I will stick my neck out and say, Virat Kohli's knock that day was slow.
Yes.
He played to the situation, yes, but that also comes from a place that this Indian team, we knew that the openers weren't firing. Yes, there was Surya, yes, there was an informed Virat Kohli.
But there was only a Surya who could accelerate.
But so was Virat Kohli also playing that circumspect innings because he knew that only Surya is there after him,
And
Surya
Surya
that day
had
got
been
a-
dismissed. Exactly.
But that is the template.
No, that is a wrong template. Because if
But
you
where
look
is it
at
coming from? It comes from the fact that again your openers didn't work that day as well.
Yeah, Surya
And
got
again-
dismissed, and then on top of that, Kohli batting at that speed works if there's someone else on the other end to accelerate. On the other end, for the most part, he had Hardik who was himself dowling around.
Yes.
And listen, one
Also,
more-
he was scratchy until that point in the, I think that Sam
Nawaz
Curran over.
yeah.
That
So
Sam
you're
Curran
talking
over.
about Pakistan or England?
England.
Ah, the Karan over or the
Yeah.
Jordan over.
Yeah, so the England game, yes.
Now look, again, Kohli's template has been adapted because it's not overnight.
Also, it works for him as a player. We know that.
That's the
It
thing.
gets the best out of him. We know, the world knows it's out there. You give Virat Kohli, if he's there for 14, 15 balls, game over. He's
the
set in,
problem.
he's got his eye in, and it's difficult to get him
But
out.
traditionally, that is the way Kohli has played.
But we have to understand where England won this tournament. Look at how they played in the power play. This is a format, yes, you can be circumspect, yes, to play to the situation. It is a high risk format. I agree with what Harsha Bhogle says. It is a high risk game and you have to play. What is the point of saving all your batters just for the last 30 balls?
Exactly, and with the thing,
Or even lesser. India weren't aggressing or you didn't see anyone taking the attack up till the 17th over in that game against England.
and to be
That's
fair,
just 2 less balls.
to be fair, England too. It's not like they have every hitter, every person who can just hit from ball one.
Yeah.
If you analyze both their 2019 World Cup winning squad or playing 11 as well as the 2022 one, there are 1 or 2 batsmen there who can stick around if need be.
Yeah.
This time around, you had David Malan and Ben
Also,
Stokes.
I feel this has been given. This is Mahendra Singh Dhoni's legacy.
Yeah.
Take it deep. But I think this philosophy works better when you're chasing.
And it stopped working now.
It's stopped working.
If you're chasing, yes, you back your
we are
ability.
using Dhoni for a very wrong example. He was a great ODI player and an IPL player. But he was never a great T20I player. Never. You look at any chase. He botched up 3 chases. Mahendra Singh Dhoni,
As a
Birmingham
T20
2014,
yeah.
Harare in 2016, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 8 of 6. That too when India had 7 wickets remaining.
Yeah.
Take it deep, take it deep.
There's one more game, I'm forgetting which one it was.
Yeah, Dhoni was never a great T20I player. He was a greatest ODI and IPL player. This is where we make a problem. This is where we have a problem. Wrong examples, wrong benchmarks, and the basic thing is why I stressed on the core. Because England, who are the teams that played with the core? Except India, everybody reached the knockouts.
England,
Yes.
New Zealand played with their
Pakistan. In fact, I would argue even Australia, largely speaking, if
largely.
you look at, they had the same number of points pretty much as England.
Yeah, they didn't play. Mitchell Starc wasn't there.
right?
Yeah, that's
7
the only
points.
difference. Mitchell Starc wasn't there for one of the series in India.
Yeah.
But apart from that, the batting core remained. Warner wasn't there.
Also, no, but also you have to remember they rested players for the India tour because those players had knocks. But they otherwise they sent pretty much a full strength team, and the players who got rested from the India tour played in the final this thing against England. It was
England, yes. So looking at it, the first lesson, if you have to build a template in white ball dominance, identify your core.
Yeah. I concur.
Give a sustained run to the core. Because
Something which hadn't happened, by the way, coming into this World
it
Cup.
has never happened since 2013. It's never happened. You developed some aspects of your batting, but some aspects were left undone. Look at 2017. Get the top 3 out quickly.
That was true till 2019.
Yeah. 2019, you messed your middle order so much. You first gave Ambati Rayudu the false assurance.
Yeah.
Then you ruined Vijay Shankar's career. You almost ruined Rishabh Pant's career, by the way, by dumping him into the fire. But luckily, Rishabh
came
Pant
out.
emerged out of that unscathed, relatively. But India were playing dumb charades or muddled
Musical
thinking,
chairs.
chairs all the way.
Well, the
until
ultimate musical
semi-final.
chairs happened with the captain's armband.
Yeah.
And again, if you have to look at it, 17, 19 and 21. 21 you lost the first game, your entire team got dismantled in the New Zealand game.
Exactly, and then you lost the second game too.
Yeah.
That's it, campaign over.
So, at the end of the
And you
day,
won the 3 remaining useless games.
at the end of the day, play with your sustained core, identifiable core for a year or 2. And this is where my second point comes into.
That's the problem. I think you knew the core, but you were resting.
Injuries.
Again, injury, rotation.
See, injury you can't help.
Injury you can't help. Yes, of course. But
I
again,
had said workload management will be the key. India failed miserably in workload management. You either underworked them or you overworked them.
I think as a matter of fact, I think Jasprit Bumrah had only played 5 T20Is.
He played only 10% of the games.
Shami had not played a T20 since the last
since
World
the last
Cup.
World Cup.
Yes.
Wasn't in your scheme of things until Bumrah
got injured.
And meanwhile, you had played the likes of Prasidh Krishna, in all these series that you went to.
Yep.
There was Umesh Yadav as well.
And also, you have to remember, there's one thing which we talk about. One is playing with the core. I think we can all agree that is something that needs to be there. When you say core, it doesn't mean 11. It means you have an option, you have a group of players, 17, 18 players. You're like, okay, these are the ones who we will mostly be considering. Then, the second thing, and I have to stress this was, and I have to stress this is all-rounders. All-rounders.
Again, can all teams do
No,
that?
but you need. But
See,
India
England were
needs-
the exception.
True, but India need more all-rounders than they have right now. They do.
Quality all round.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. And see, Venkat
Because it's a matter of, I'm sorry to cut you there. Venkatesh Iyer was considered as one of the upcoming all-rounders. Again, last 10, 11
left
months.
out in the cold.
Exactly. He had to play Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, didn't have a good IPL at all. Shardul Thakur was the other person.
Has never been considered for
He's not been
T20s for a while now.
considered. Who else?
Vijay Shankar.
Vijay Shankar, again nowhere in the picture at the moment.
can't be in the picture anymore because you've moved beyond all
You
these
moved
days.
beyond, exactly. So then you look at IPL players then.
Now this is where I'll come to that, but Venkata Nanduri, Kohli template followed by everyone. KL, Hardik, in World Cup pressure, Rohit had to adapt that template. Rohit's template, nobody othered.
You all also. No, hold on. Rohit didn't adhere to that template out of pressure. His form was off. Let's not absolve him.
Venkata Nanduri, if you listen to my thing, I always was saying, what was the template? Where was the template?
No, it was evident with Rohit. He was trying too hard to be aggressive.
Yeah.
In the bilaterals at least.
He was very scratchy. Rohit was where, and I think if your leader could not execute that template because he himself was scratchy,
Then how can you expect others to do it?
there was no plan B.
The only one who played that template was Surya.
Surya.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. Only Surya Kumar.
High risk game, getting you dividends. Of course, he had that one or two off games. He's allowed, but he's more than compensated in the other matches.
Yep.
Let's not forget, if it wasn't for the impetus that he gave, India weren't even looking at that kind of a
In fact,
total
that
against Zimbabwe.
South Africa's game became a game because Surya's knock on that fourth wicket.
Yeah.
But apart from that, the template of aggression did not come from any of the other players. They took it deep. So it's actually not the Kohli template, Venkat. It was the Dhoni template.
Yes. See, I think that works better when you're chasing. You back your strengths. Again, we know Kohli, and that's what Josh Butler also said. We knew India are a better team when it comes to chasing. You've got a Kohli who's on song at the moment, and he, by the way, on his day will win you any match, any total.
Yes.
But when it came to giving a total, setting up a total, you misread the conditions that day. That's one. And England were the superior team when it came to analyzing the conditions as well.
Yep.
Secondly, again, when you were asked to put the total, because you had misread the conditions, even I disagree now in hindsight. I don't think even a 180 was a good target then. You had to look much beyond that total as well, because that wicket slowed down considerably. And look at the kind of batting that we saw on display then.
Also, one thing which you have to talk about, you always talk about this current team adopting a new template, trying to be more aggressive, but a lot of these players were players who were groomed in and schooled in the MS Dhoni template.
Absolutely.
So you didn't really change your 11, barring maybe one or two players. Maybe. Actually, you didn't really change your 11. KL, Rohit, Virat, Sky, Hardik. DK was really the only major change you made in the
Perhaps.
batting. And
because Dhoni and DK couldn't have played together.
and because Pant's form was off. Otherwise, you would have Pant there. Then Jaddu was a forced change because he got injured.
you had Akshar.
We had Akshar. Other than that, in the bowling also, Arshdeep was the only fresh face. You had Ashwin, you had Bhuvi, you had Shami. It's the same team. We kept talking about last year, this is a humiliation of the highest order, heads will roll. Nothing happened. It's the same players. You're trying to teach old dogs new tricks. Doesn't work.
And the worst part is, see, this is where I'll come to the IPL. You have not utilized the IPL.
IPL talent.
No, you used it to actually hone your skills.
Either develop
play
a
with that
core-
template.
Yeah.
Why? See, that can't happen because again, you have players playing in different franchises.
No. Someone like Surya plays exactly the same way for
Exactly the
India as
same
he
way.
plays
But
for
again,
the MI.
But to expect that you follow the same template that you follow for the national team to replicate that for your IPL
Once
franchise may not necessarily work.
Once again, there is no template. The simple fact
Because
is,
look at how Josh Butler played for Rajasthan. He played exactly the same way for
Yes,
England.
yes.
Look at how Liam Livingston was for Kings 11 Punjab. He bowled a lot for them
Yes.
too. In fact, he bowled more than he batted in this tournament. He was
Right.
very useful with his
but
legs.
look at Moeen Ali.
Exactly, Moeen Ali. For CSK, he was coming in as a 1 down player, 2 down at most,
down.
and tonking. What was he doing here?
The Indian players have not utilized the IPL. The administrators have also not utilized the IPL well at all. Because where is the talent pool?
There is a talent pool. They're just
But
not
you
utilizing
can't
it.
fit all of them in. It's producing far too much. As I said, supply has outscored demand.
Considerably.
Normally it's the other way, demand outscores supply. That's the thing. Oh, we want more, there's a shortage. But here,
There's no shortage.
There is
you
no-
can
it's
actually
excess.
you can actually make 3 India teams. India A, B, C.
Well, we've seen 2 India teams play simultaneously and we saw it happen twice.
and look, yet again, when your key players, do they turn up for all the matches of the franchisee?
Yes.
See,
Yes.
the other problem is, okay, you've identified your core. Understandable. Okay, you've identified those 15, 16 players. You have an identified pool. Okay, you've got a Yash Dayal, you've got an Umran. You've got all these youngsters as well who we will be seeing now play over the next couple of weeks. But your main players are not playing now. So what now? New captain. You play these players in. You play to the ideology of the new captain. Again, there's a new coach as well. Not necessarily will the same ideas be followed again in this series.
Yes, like if you remember the Zimbabwe ODIs, India played very conservative cricket. Lakshman was the
Yes,
coach then,
Lakshman was
and
the
the
coach.
main focus at that time we used to say was what? He'll want to win the series.
Yeah, he wanted to win the series.
Yes.
That's why he didn't take risks and chances. Now, that is my main problem. Look, IPL, priorities are very clear. When Jasprit Bumrah was coming back, they lost 8 out of 8 games, Mumbai, at the start.
Yeah.
Was there a need for him to play the other 8 games?
But see,
Considering.
I agree. It's right that he probably shouldn't have.
He shouldn't.
It's right. But that is a problem, by the way, that's not new to... it's new to cricket.
You have repeated the same
Not Indian
mistake
cricket.
over
No,
and
it's
over
new to
again.
Indian cricket. But if you watch even football, I'll give an example. Recently, before the World... Now, you know for a fact that this weekend, which we just witnessed, was the last weekend of Club Football World Cup.
Yeah.
Right. In the pre-match press conference, ahead of Manchester City's game against Brentford. You know what Pep Guardiola said? Like, listen, if you want your country's players to be rested, don't call me. Because his remit is simple.
Exactly. He has to win the league.
Country be damned.
Yes.
He has to win the league.
He's got his prerogative
The same
set.
is true here. Do you think the BCCI will be able to tell industrialists who are pumping in that much money into a product that no boss, Bumrah will not play? So we'll pull out our investment. It's a catch-22 situation.
That's the thing.
It's a
You modeled everything around, because we give England as an example, no? But in football,
But then comes
who is the most successful team in the world? Is it England?
No, it's Brazil.
Which is the most followed league?
Premier League.
Premier League?
Has it generated world beaters?
To be fair,
individual capacities, yes, they've developed very good
also
players.
Now, that's also recent. Until maybe 5 years back, the Premier League wasn't developing this much talent because there wasn't a focus on homegrown development. That's a different argument. Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
It'll take the Brexit road as well.
Yeah.
3 months you're going to start playing now IPL with increased number of games.
Yes.
No, it won't be increased this
No,
year.
not this year.
Not this year. I'm saying
Not this year?
2024-25.
Yeah.
It is going to increase in the coming seasons.
Yes, you're going to see up to 90 games if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Now, home and away, travel in a country like India, which is logistically very, very taxing.
It's massive.
India is a massive country. It's not a small country at all. One end to the other end takes you 2.5-3 hours by flight.
Yes.
And it can
One end?
Yeah.
If I have to fly from here to Kolkata, it takes me about 2 hours. And again, this is not really one end to the other.
It's extremes. The Makata scale shows that India is a massive country.
Yeah.
Same like Australia. It's huge.
Yeah.
So imagine, but everybody will have to be made available for it. That's the worst part. That is why this is where the IPL plays a key role. Where on earth will the players ever find time to rest? You will never, because Indians will play the entire year from January to December. Which month are they not free? Just in the last couple of years.
Also, by the way, since that point about industrialists and all was mentioned, and of course, players will feel the heat from their owners. Let's not forget what Ross Taylor said in his book.
Yeah.
He said he was slapped by the
In a jokey way. And he was also said,
like, we're not paying you millions to bat slow.
Exactly.
He was being beaten and all.
That is the mentality. Look, I'll give a better example. Venki Mysore, the CEO of KKR, had said very clearly that we would love to sign certain players to like a whole year-long contract so we can have them on our retainer and play across our multiple leagues.
Yeah.
So that is the mindset. They are not looking to develop the Indian team.
For
Neither should they.
yes.
For them, it's a business investment.
For them, it's an investment. They are not here to promote or for the welfare of Indian.
Exactly. They're going to make money out of it.
Yeah.
I want to make money out. Venkata Nanduri, Rohit just 1 year and blaming him. VK and MS had 4 to 7 years with no results.
And to be fair, VK got a hell of a lot of...
He was also criticized.
he was slammed left, right, center.
Yes. The only stain in Virat Kohli's impeccable legacy as a captain is that no ICC wins.
Yeah, he is a test captain, very good, but his white ball...
But you know,
what didn't win the ICC?
What puts small pressure on Rohit Sharma? He knows that he probably doesn't have another World Cup after the 23 World Cup as captain.
And that's the thing with Rohit, you knew it was a very short-term appointment.
He knows that as well. He got, again, with the Virat in charge and all, he knew it was always difficult for him to be the main man. Yes, he was the vice captain and whatnot, but this was probably one of the reasons as well. He probably felt the heat.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at...
And there is, and as cricket fans, enthusiasts, we all understand as well that he is... Let's not call it a stopgap arrangement, but
he's
got
a
limited time.
short-term arrangement.
Yes, he is not here for the long haul.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at it this way, when Morgan did that rebuild for England,
Yes.
by the time you reached the 2019 World Cup, he was in his early 30s.
Yes.
But he still had that time period from 2015 onwards, knowing he could build to a World T20, which, by the way, they reached the final of and lost it due to a very freakish final over. Then 2019 they won the tournament, but that was also the result of him knowing that he would be there. He could have actually been here this year also.
Yes.
His form fell off a cliff, so he chose to
retire. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Although I do agree, Venkat Nanduri, with the last point. KL's 8 slow start put pressure on. Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah,
There's no.
let's open that debate. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, it was
But one thing to be added here in response to that question, also the fact that Rohit was anyway struggling. He wasn't able to time the ball.
He was struggling for the past year.
Exactly. Poor IPL, poor year. Just a couple of T20 50s, if I'm not wrong, the whole year.
Yep.
And that was that. And a scratchy 50 by his own admission against Netherlands.
And he wasn't helping himself by trying to adopt this aggressive template. He tried to really embody it. But when was Rohit at his best? When he batted long.
Yeah.
Why has he scored 3 200s in ODI cricket? Because he batted long.
Yeah.
And then he would consistently, once he was well set, would score at a high rate.
Yes.
So he was always good at that. He's nicknamed
And also,
Hitman.
I think one of the other things that I saw from Kohli, from Rohit, yes, there was some intent. We saw him advance, like we were talking the other day, against Zimbabwe, despite a maiden first over.
And despite getting a swinging ball.
He was trying too hard this time.
Too hard.
A lot of power he was going for. He didn't have to. Yes, we know he can. He makes it look easy. He is one of the more graceful players and the ones who make it look easy. But this time, again, just going after it every time, lot of power.
The fact that he got out 3 times playing the pull shot
Tells you everything.
is
Because
an
he's-
indication time is not on the side.
And it's also, you have to remember that he is one of the best pullers in this team.
Of course, it's his favorite shot.
Yep.
The puller, the best puller and the hooker.
Yes.
Yes.
Can't be calling him a hooker.
That is why, I mean, look, that's why I agree one part, Venkat Nanduri. But the other part, we blamed even Virat, we blamed even MS Dhoni for it. We blamed him often for it. See, Dhoni got this much of vitriol and criticism about 2009 and 10. But then he came back in grand style to win 2011.
Then 11, then 13. But then even Rohit.
But just opening up this topic a little more, a thing that sort of baffles me. We've seen too many lows of late. We've seen a 36 all out. We saw lose to Pakistan by 10. We saw us lose to England by 10 wickets.
Okay,
what are these lows?
Add some more.
We can.
Lows. For example, the World Test Championship final.
Yeah, but Kohli would say we lost it in 15 minutes and I'm
you lose everything in 10 minutes.
2019 World Cup semi-final. That was an ultimate low.
Yeah, because you lost
2017 final.
Champions Trophy.
180 runs. It was a shellacking that Pakistan gave us.
And to be fair, that could have been worse if not
that's
for
not to say
Pandya.
we've not touched heights. Yes, you talk about a record in the bilateral series here and there. Yes, we've seen some highs as well. But what's with these? What's with India hitting these low scores?
It's because there is a
Uncertainty.
it's because there's a stubborn or a lack of a will to admit that, look, we need to change things. Simple as.
India is resistant to change. You have to understand that.
you are, as I said, you're trying to play aggressive, attacking this, that, with a bunch of players, Surya aside, who've been schooled in the MS Dhoni template.
Yep.
Is that going to happen? Anyway, I think we should take some.
Some comments maybe.
Okay, Mayank player. There is once it's
all right.
Why will Sridhar Deshpande is like saying, why will a player who's making his debut play attacking innings? What if he gets out and gets dropped next match? There are 4 to 5 like-to-like replacements sitting out.
But to be fair, and I'll give
this is where the problem is.
No, but
supply has outscored demand.
But the problem now is, and I think one of the credit points is that this current regime, in the 1 year or they've really backed most of their players who they see as big time. Yes, few can say they were not this thing like a Nishan Kishan maybe. Shreyas Iyer could feel hard done by. Prithvi Shaw. I understand.
Ishan
Kishan more than Shaw.
Because he played him so much.
Kuldeep Yadav.
Kuldeep actually got injured at the worst times. I'm sorry.
But he came back in the West Indies series and got more wickets than Ravichandran Ashwin. Yet, you did not pick him.
That
Yuzi Chahal will disagree.
Yuzi though, he would be feeling really frustrated.
I mean, see, the problem is there is too many players for too few roles. This is where
it's difficult as well.
It's very difficult. See,
ultimately only 11 will play.
But isn't it a better problem to have?
It's not in India's case.
It should be.
It's proving to be a curse. Because all these players, for example, Rajat Patidar, one of our family members said Rajat Patidar. Yes, superb. Shahbaz Ahmed, superb. But where do you fit them?
And who do you sit? Who do you?
And where will you play them in a clutch position? You haven't given them that
They're not
experience.
groomed enough to be in those clutch situations.
One more problem. We are all saying, no, how much of a longer rope can you give until it turns out to be a noose? Where is that line in the sand? It's not there.
Yeah, you'll still see KL Rahul get multiple opportunities.
It is on the
afterwards.
whims and fancies of certain individuals by which players can still play. For example, on just pure old school method, did Mohammad Shami deserve a place in the Indian team?
No, he was drafted. And if you saw him in your plans, why was he not playing T20s before? And the fact is, you saw him as being surplus to requirements.
Yes.
Then panicked when Bumrah got injured. Simple as.
And then you realized.
But the BCCI made it look as if they were panicking like blocks of ice melting in December. They wanted to give that kind of a scenario. Oh, okay, we have got a plan B. You'd never had a plan A. Forget plan B and C. There was never a plan A, and that is the main reason why the template will revolve around one major thing. The proposal that I have, my top player, there's not one person who can truly guide BCCI on how to have right approach in T20 ice. Okay. There is one suggestion that I want to put out there today. I know I am just a very small Indian cricket fan trying to vent out and say that, okay, this is some rational way I can look at it. Okay. 2023 IPL onwards. You've got 2 years now. 2023.
Then 2024
See
for the next
who are the players who are doing very well in the facets of this. Say suppose Rajat Patidar or Shahbaz Ahmed does well as an all-rounder. Pick him in the team, okay? Pick him in the team. What you then do is, whoever performs well in the batting, bowling, all-round departments in their respective franchises, make an India team out of that, okay? Give them an extended run of 7 to 8 bilaterals on a consistent basis, no chopping and changing. Build that core. Play with that core. Then suppose July 2024 is when the West Indies and America T20 World Cup is going to happen. Start playing with the core from September 2023 onwards until July. That time in that 15, you don't need 35, you don't need 45. Among that 15, the BCCI anyway takes 21 people. Identify what are the weaknesses, strengths, threats. Have a suitable backup for that. As they said, too many cooks spoil the broth. If I get 50 dishes on a platter, I will eat all 50. I'll take only 5 or 10. That is the way forward. Utilize the IPL in that way. Utilize it in such a way that you develop the core. Develop that core. Because you are not going to overnight result. Even that is not a guarantee for success. You are probably preparing for 2026. Forget 2024. You're preparing for 2026. But at least you have a settled core without chopping and changing. And your average age by the time you reach 2026 won't be more than 30.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say.
The likes of Sanju Samson.
Yeah.
The likes of Ravi Bishnoi.
Rahul Chahar.
Umran
Malik.
Shahbaz Ahmed, Rajat Patidar,
Yash Dayal, who knows?
Devdutt Padikkal,
or Rahul Tewatia.
Rahul Tewatia, Shubman Gill.
See, some of these names will have to be given a serious thought if you talk about 24. I think now BCCI is in a muddle because there's the 23 World Cup which is happening in India.
And it's an
ODI
ODI World
India factor.
But it's a different world format.
I agree. And we're talking about the white ball format. So again, I think BCCI is in a bit of a mix right now. How do they strike that balance between getting things right for 23? Mind you, 24, people will not talk about 24. It's all about 23 now.
Yep. Anyway, you're right.
And reaching the semi-finals in India is a bare minimum for Team India now. Is a bare minimum. Now, anything lesser than that.
See, and because why I'm saying is because before the World Cup of 2022, you played the most T20Is among all the nations.
You're going to be playing lots of ODIs as well now.
Does it help? It didn't. Smartness.
Because again, you can't, I think, who had the number the other day? I think 54 matches we're going to be playing.
54 ODIs.
54 ODIs before we play the World Cup now, which is happening in India. Of course, you cannot have your core play all 54. You can't even have them play 40.
Half of them also.
Exactly.
But play them at a time which is very, say, suppose, okay, we have given chances for 27, this thing for 6 months to them. Now the remaining 6 months, if there are 20 ODIs remaining, play with that core for the remaining 6
Yes.
months until the tournament begins. Simple. Why did MS Dhoni win 2011? He played with that core.
And I think everyone knew what India's playing 11 would be. They weren't any guessing games. With regards to this World Cup or India's preparation coming into this World Cup, nobody knew what India's 11. Everyone knew India's top 6. Rather top 5. With 6 also there was this thing, whether it's DK, whether it's Pant.
Till the last day in Adelaide, you never knew.
You never knew. Exactly. So playing with the core is important.
And see, the problem here is, why I was not too, it didn't give me that vibe that, DK, brilliant. Just on the basis of IPL performances, you cannot sidetrack or fast track a player.
I disagree.
You can't. See what has happened. Umran Malik, see what has happened to Umran Malik. You took him to Ireland. You conveniently may want to avoid Ireland.
He was smacked there as well, by the way.
Smashed.
Yeah.
Simple. IPL is your basis for T20 bilaterals. If you do well in T20 bilaterals, then you get the ticket to the T20 World Cup.
But that's what they did with DK, no?
No.
Didn't they?
Where
They
did
played him
DK
in
get
the bilaterals.
opportunities? Where did DK get opportunities?
No, he
to
was
bat?
playing in bilateral.
He was playing in bilateral.
But how many balls?
12
7 balls, 10 balls,
But
total.
But said no,
entire
the thing
bilaterals.
is, his rule was clear that you will come into bat only when there are 6-7 balls, and you will be expected to score about 15-17 in those 5-6
That
balls.
was not the right rule. I'll tell you why. Who finished in the T20 World Cup? Who was your finisher? Hardik Pandya. You completely confounded Pandya and DK's role. That was the main consensus. Because why would you drop DK?
See, I with regards to the DK Pant debate, I think BCCI was right. Yes, of course, there was tactical involvement right towards the end, but again, Pant wasn't in form either.
Yep.
So to pick DK
And hadn't
over
been for a
Pant,
long
and
time.
the fact that yes, there was some good form backing him, it made sense.
No, but
It made
again,
sense.
if you wanted to go there, if you wanted another option to punt, then I think a Sanju Samson has
See,
every
for
right to
example,
maybe a
play
Samson,
for
not
example-
Ishan, because Ishan only can play up top.
up top.
No.
But Sanju is being groomed for
For
that role.
example,
Yes.
For
now we
example-
know that. Now it's in public domain.
Oops.
Oops.
Okay.
A rare intervention.
Yes,
his
a very
phone.
rare
A rare intervention.
Yep. So see, I'll tell you one reason,
You can take the call.
Phil Salt.
Take the call.
Phil Salt is a classic case. Did he do well in the Vitality Blast? Did he do well in either of the leagues that he played in? No. Where did he get his calling from? In the bilateral against Pakistan.
Yes.
Him and Harry Brooks.
Harry Brook. Harry Brook. He was a demon in that series against Pakistan.
Yes.
What is the thing? Was it a league? No. It
was
was
international.
an international bilateral series. This is the problem. So that is why I'm saying, Samir Singh, that's a very, very naughty comment. Although it is wrong.
No, it's wrong. Guess who is England's PM? I'll tell you who is England's PM. It's a British citizen who's had family living in that country stretching back 3 generations.
Yes.
Yes. And
End
even,
of story.
his parents, you have to look back at, they were in Africa. Never in India. You can say Indian heritage or
Indian origin,
this.
and that would be correct. But he's not Indian.
He isn't.
Indian at best, he's of Indian descent.
Of an origin.
Yes,
as you
or-
said.
yeah.
He's a British citizen. Bona fide
Yes,
British citizen.
yes,
Just like Barack Hussein Obama is a proper bona fide
American citizen, correct.
Yes.
Chalo, we'll move on. We'll
So,
let that go.
Dhoni-
Let's take some few more comments.
Yes.
Giant slayer.
I think that there's something on Bishnoi. Ravi Bishnoi
Was
Has been sidelined, which is
sidelined,
correct. I
which
feel
is
bad
true.
for him.
Shivan just
He was venting it out as well in his
Then
limited
again, to
capacity.
be fair,
There
he
were
was the
stories and all.
backup. He was the backup for UZ.
UZ.
They dumped UZ. Why does they need a backup for UZ now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dhoni dropped Sachin, Sehwag, Gambhir, Dravid, Kohli and Rohit refused to drop Dhawan.
Yeah, they did though.
They
Yeah,
did.
they have.
And now does Hardik has the courage to drop Rohit and Virat for
But Hardik is only a temporary captain.
Yes.
Rohit is still the
Yes.
full-time captain.
See, 2023 Rohit has been picked as the captain. After 2023, we don't know what the
We
situation
don't
will
know.
be.
We don't know.
They play all formats?
No.
I doubt.
But if you, again, just taking you back to the beginning of the World Cup, that's when Ravi Shastri had said, be prepared for wholesale changes after this
But to
World
be fair, it's Ravi.
You will have to look at wholesale
yes.
generational changes after 2023.
23, yes, but for the T20 format, you might just see changes happen immediately, perhaps.
I mean, to be fair, and I agree with you, they should. But we said the same thing in 2021.
Never happened.
Really not much changed.
A generational change can only happen
When you move on one generation.
simply if someone has the courage to say, like MS Dhoni, I need this particular thing. He could make do with anything that was given to him.
Yeah.
Bringing out the best in the players.
To be fair, he made Kedar Jadhav look like a decent bowler.
Yes.
He had the courage. 7-1 field and bowling wide outside off in that Nagpur test was genius. Who can do that? Now no one can do it because everything is evolved.
Yeah.
Dhoni even now, if he captains this current side, he will struggle because his change was a different epoch altogether. This is a different epoch altogether. And England have done it primarily through versatility and stable core.
And, more importantly, a dedication to an ideology, a style of play.
Yeah.
They have adopted it and ingrained it among themselves to the point.
Supposing it's simple geology and geography. If you have an unstable core, what happens? You get earthquakes. What do earthquakes do? Destruction.
Yeah.
The Indian team did not have a proper core. What happened?
Implosion.
Chopping and changing, implosion, destruction. You changed everything except for the batting order, but the bowling order and your wicketkeeper was confirmed. If everybody in that team knows their roles, half of the battle is won. And because of that, you have to play on a consistent basis. Build a core. If you just put a building out of just cement and then you expect them to stay, it will collapse.
That as Rohit Roy makes an interesting point.
Yeah.
He's saying that look, India changed their top 3 for the 2013 Champions Trophy 2 years after winning the World Cup. Then why stick with the same top 3 after you've lost by 10 wickets in back-to-back World Cups? Ooh, $1 million question, Rohit Roy. $1 million question.
But again, individual performances or team? That is the most important.
The problem is that this time around the individual performances drag down the team. So it's
Except
an easy
Virat.
solution.
Except
for arguably Virat, and even there, I think you
The
have to
caveat
start.
was that he batted slowly. But then
That's the thing.
but because your top order didn't succeed, your openers didn't succeed, that forced Virat to just bat the way he did. So that's about it. I feel.
Let's take two more comments. Pradeep Shivalsar is saying that look, it's time to have different captains in teams, coaching, etc. We have the depth. Not changing the approach now will be detrimental, and fans will give up on the team.
Indian fans,
they'll not give up on anything.
No.
You'll be the same people who will then comment on, okay, India thrashed New Zealand in 3 days' time. That's what.
But to be fair, a lot of our family members would also say when we were winning bilaterals, look, bilateral wins are great. World Cup jeeta hai.
India is the South Africa of the 2000s. Simple.
No.
Great bilateral series.
That in that sense, sure. But underwhelming in ICCs.
Underwhelming. But at least India have won 3 by ICC wins. South Africa haven't even won one.
In fact, Sridhar Deshpande makes a good point. He's saying that BCCI should just make it a rule that a single player can't play all formats at a time. Then only, true talent will. And look, to be fair, this Indian team right now has a lot of 3-format players.
Yes.
Lot of 3-format players.
If you
at
want,
least 5 or 6 who are 3-format players. The top 3.
Yeah.
Rishabh Pant.
Yes.
Bumrah. Jaddu. But 6 players I've named just there who are all format players.
Listen to what Joss Butler said in 2018 to yours.
He'll never get tired of shouting that out.
Because I think it still holds true.
It holds true, even more true now, because remember, they tried to make Joss Butler a test player, failed, realized, okay, he's better for white ball, and they've stuck in there.
Simple thing he said, you should not be arrogant to play all 3 formats. Pick and choose.
I think going forward for the younger generation, that clarity will sink in sooner or later. You need to pick and choose.
Yeah, that is the first step in building that core. That is the second step by which you can build a template of aggressive hitting, which England are doing.
Partly as that's something you're saying, we as fans also can sometimes be a little fickle in that.
Yes.
Why? Because when Cheteshwar Pujara gets an IPL contract or doesn't get an IPL contract, then we're offended. But is Cheteshwar Pujara ever a T20 player? No. Why can't we keep him stuck to one format of the game? There's nothing wrong with it. He's an all-time great in terms of the numbers he's had in Test cricket. Look at Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad. They've elongated their careers to that point by only focusing on one format. Look, Jimmy Anderson has lost a couple of yards of pace. But when he's bowling in rhythm,
when he's bowling in 130 Ks, look at the number of wickets he's producing.
He still has that clean action. He's still getting the ball to swing. Oh, we have a super. Let's just take that last comment of the day.
Yeah.
Yep, a super chat, and who has said it?
Shubham.
Guys, I feel despite Shreyas target for short ball, he's
True.
so good. Even with that issue, he was temperament. Also, he's gutsy. Player fighting spirit. I feel this is one ICC event. He's for 3 years.
You know, that's the thing. I think he himself has also been unlucky to miss out on a couple of those squads.
He had
2019.
injury, I think.
19 he was not injured.
The 2020 is when he picked up. No, 21 was it?
1-1.
21.
He was injured for the first half of the
First
season,
half,
had an underwhelming second half,
And then lost captaincy.
And again, you panicked. You panicked because Shreyas couldn't play the short ball.
he was getting you runs despite that. Anyway,
But against the attack in the West Indies,
see, he
but
was getting.
at that Perth wicket, I would have just imagined Nortje bowling that.
Nortje bowling those
Deepak
balls.
Huda looked like a deer.
But
They were
otherwise
restless.
as well, I think the only sort of time that we saw Shreyas Iyer in action was the IPL. Otherwise, we didn't see.
He was playing bilaterals. He was playing bilaterals.
Was he
West
playing
Indies
all
South Africa,
bilaterals?
South Africa at home he played.
Yep.
He played against England. He played against West Indies. So he played a lot
West
of
Indies was
bilaterals.
his last.
Yeah.
Asia Cup. he was
Ironically,
not
the place where he had the most success.
Success as well. Yeah.
playing. Yes, he does deserve at least one ICC event in the next 3 years.
And I think he's going to be part of the ODI squad going forward.
ODI squad.
Because another factor, very good player of spin. A lot of teams will target spinners in the middle overs or try to bring in spinners.
Imagine
He loves
he could have-
striking them
He could
out.
have targeted Adil Rashid.
He is, by the way, speaking. The one number I definitely remember. He is one of the top averaging players in the ODI format this year for India.
Even his T20 numbers are decent.
Decent.
But,
But
again,
yeah.
short ball was. And with that, we cut our dugout short here as
It's
well.
not been short. It's been nearly 50 minutes.
Yeah.
We've been going on for a long time.
Yes,
not bad.
yes,
Yeah.
not bad. Not thank you, but because all our family
There's
members.
so many questions, man. I'm so sorry we couldn't take all of them.
All of
but
them,
But we did try.
we
Yeah.
try like
So-
we always do.
Yep. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this dugout. We'll be back with more updates. on
Same,
sports
and
today.
don't forget, same time tomorrow you can join us. Let us in with your questions. We'll be more than
Like,
happy to
share,
answer.
subscribe on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are building up now to another World Cup, which is the
FIFA
FIFA
World
World Cup
Cup.
20.
There are already a couple of videos with regards to the World Cup on our YouTube page. Do watch that. Plenty of stuff coming your way starting
yeah,
tomorrow
absolutely.
as well.
Yes.
And yes, we'll keep you posted with everything with regards to the other and the Mega World Cup coming
Yep.
up.
Thank you. Bye bye. Vanakkam.
See you then.